Hello there. A very good evening to you, my dear viewer. It's a pleasure to welcome you to NTA Abakaliki Studios as you join us on the program Issues. Issues is a current affairs program designed to keep you abreast of major happenings in various sectors in Ebonyi State and beyond. And of course, today I have creme de la creme individuals, guests that will amaze you on today's topic of discussion. I'm so excited to welcome you to the studios. NTA Bakalike is on channel 43. Of course, we are the Sunrise Station. You can also tune into the cable television via Star Times, channel 103, to join us. And of course, this program is being streamed on NTA Abakalike. Join us on Facebook as well. My name is Fortunate, also your presenter. I have the guests who are here to do justice to today's topic. Of course, we would be talking about poultry. I know it may sound bizarre to you. You may not have heard it before, but not to worry. At the end of this program, you're going to be amazed at what poultry is all about. So, at my immediate left is Dr. Ibiam Oji. Dr. Ibiam Oji is the founding partner and the managing director for Natari and, of course, the regional manager of A4X. He is here with us. He brings a lot of expertise and his wealth of experience on today's discourse. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, everybody. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Next to Dr. Ibiam is the Animal Husbandry Officer with the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources here in Ebonyi State. And she also doubles as the State Coordinator of Ebonyi State Women in Agriculture Project. I'm talking about a woman of many parts, Mrs. Chidima Gift Obiokoye. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, all.
You're welcome. I also have another wonderful personality amongst us. He is none other than an amazing person who beams everything that Natari and A4S does to the public and also brings their attention to their activities. He is the head of media and marketing for A4S. He is none other than Itinu Emmanuel. We are glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, I welcome you on board. Tighten your seatbelt and relax. Sail with us as we delve into this program. Like I informed you earlier, the topic is poultry. Poultry, of course, is an organic fertilizer, but I don't want to give you a tip of the iceberg. I want to turn to innovator, the man who has crossed the length and breadth of this country and even beyond. He has ties with the Kazasat University, Thailand, where they are developing these products. And I'm talking about Dr. Ibiam Oji. Can you tell us what poultry is all about?
Okay, so the proprietary blend called Fortry is ionic enhancer. It's a fertilizer or enhancer that actually produced to help farmers to grow more foods, then also a support product that helps farmers to mitigate some of the challenges that the farmers has always have over the year. And then I really want you to also understand that this particular product was actually designed to help farmers grow more food and to be able to stop the food insecurities across the world. That is actually what we'll be discussing today. And I have the, my head of marketing, who is also very grounded in this product. One, because he's a scientist to the core and also have a wealth of experience. So we'll be sharing this with you viewers, and then also to encourage the Ebonians and all the Southeast people that there is a product that will help you to grow more food and to stop the food insecurity in the southeast.
Okay, thank you very much. From your description, you said that the fall tree it was basically developed as an organic and ionic formula to help in crop yield, increase growth, and also tackle food insecurity at the long run. I want to turn to Mr. Itinu Emmanuel. What other insight do you want to add to what poultry is all about?
If I'm to add any extra insight, is the fact of the ease of use of poultry and how would I say, the vast difference in safety of poultry than conventional fertilizers. Okay, there has always been advancements in many fields in agriculture, but in Nigeria too, those advancements have also been practiced. But when it comes to fertilizer use, improving yield and all of that, at would I say, from the plant itself, and not just saying we need more land, more space. Advancements have not really been there, but with fortune you can achieve that to 80.
Thank you very much. I know that with the other fertilizers, that soil health most times are under risk. But with this organic ionic formula called Fortree, how do you think, Dr. Ibiam, that the health of the soil, not just the food items, the crops, the plants, is affected by applying the Fortree fertilizer?
Okay, so I'm speaking to farmers who already understand what is on ground now. In nature itself, actually build food for plants, but because of the excessive use of toxic organic materials, which inorganic materials, which we call fertilizer, this particular process are distorted, especially as regard to toxic inorganic fertilizers. So what happened is that the microorganisms that naturally produce nutrients for plants are driven out of the space. Why? Because of the use of the fertilizer. They are toxic. They drive away these microorganisms. So our land began to lose the nutrients, and that also affected even disease outbreak, because one thing about nature is that God has a way of bringing the microorganisms together, and they will produce enough nutrients that the plant needs. And so because there is issue already, there is a gap in this fertilizer space, the fortree was created to be able to solve that immediate problem. One, to be able to provide the enough nutrient for plants to enable them grow more food. Two, to also stop the toxic, which we call death in the farm, so that we can have life in the farm. And though these were also part of the arrangement of the innovators of forestry. But there's something I want to talk about, which is very, very important. In the fertilizer space, or what we call the fertilizer value chain, a lot of things happening that are not normal, are not also good. So, for example, you would notice that even in the fertilizer world, it's polarized. Many fertilizers are coming. People will tell you that there is a fertilizer for yam, another fertilizer for corn, another fertilizer for. I mean, sometimes this becomes so complicated for farmers to understand the reason why they get into the farm. And knowing fully that even in this part of the world, farmers are the most impoverished in terms of support or idea. So these farmers are no money, they have no support, and then they also have complications in the process. So many of them did not even see reasons why they will use fertilizer. Another issue is the fact that the government doesn't even bring these fertilizers to these farmers directly. They pass through middlemen, and so they don't even have access to something that is not even helpful to them. So we were thinking, how can we solve this single problem? So they created a one-stop shop fertilizer that solved all the problems once, only the application process, which Emmanuel will help expatiate how we separated the fertilizer application from the usual conventional application, so that farmers become the scientists to themselves, with this innovative product. And then we will also let you know what led to the ionic fertilizer as we continue the process
All right.
and the discuss.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibiam. I want to go to Mrs. Chidinma Gift Obiokoye. You are the state coordinator of Ebony Women in Agriculture. And I know you have been in trainings with your women where this A4S or this poultry fertilizer was given, and your women taught how to apply these fertilizers to all manner of plants. I know you have tried it particularly as a person. Can you tell us what you think the yield has been and the difference from your personal experience?
Thank you very much. Last year, the women in agriculture were trained by A4S fertilizer on organic green gardening, backyard gardening. And you know, when we talk about backyard gardening, we are talking about vegetables. And vegetables stays max 3 months in the farm and they are ready for your eating. So with poultry fertilizer, it was easy. We always talk about gender friendly agricultural appliances, agricultural machines, and the rest of them. This one is just over good for women because not only is it handy, it's easy to apply, you simply mix in the water and you spray. And you're not afraid of the chemical residues being left on your plants after 3 months. Then you are sure you're taking something that is healthy. You're not afraid of diseases or cancer or kidney failures and the rest of them. And it is non-toxic. And the yield was superb. We did a demo plot in one of our offices, the ones that was planted with poultry and the one that was planted with conventional fertilizer. And the difference is clear, both in fruiting, in maturing, and it was just okay. So we are happy we came in contact with poultry fertilizer. It has been a game changer for the community.
Thank you very much. I'll come back to Dr. Ibiam. Can you tell us the benefits inherent in the poultry fertilizer, aside the ones we have also mentioned? Are there other benefits that you think that people should see and embrace it?
Yes, okay. I begin by saying that there's a lot and lot of things to benefit because nature already has it that plant is the only living organism that produce their own food. Humans and other organisms actually depends on the plant. And so for that reason, poultry helps farmers to achieve first, which is the double yield. And how does this happen? There is what we call accelerated photosynthesis. So meaning that normal plant will actually absorb sunlight and then use it to produce starch and water, and chlorophyll. But with the application of poultry, you realize that there is an accelerated photosynthesis, meaning more starch will be produced, more chlorophyll will be produced, and this process simply means that when more starch are produced or sugar are produced, the plant will use them in the formation of cells, organic cells that can improve the tree structure, the fruit structure, fruiting structure, the flowering structure, and so many things that is actually in the process of growth for the plant. It means that that's the reason why we say that they will be double yield, meaning that if they're supposed to have one fruit, there will be more than one or two or three fruits. And if the plant is supposed to produce one fruit and now can produce three fruits, we say 3 times. Okay, so that means they double the yield, triple the yield, even sometimes quadruple the yield. And in the process of producing the chlorophyll, there is accelerated chlorophyll production, meaning the cells or the fins of the chlorophyll will continue to produce more, and because they are producing more, then they will not be attacked by pests or even the diseases because the plant is fully protected by this accelerated thing. And then many of us notice that sometimes they will have a premature fruiting or flowering. And with forestry, those things are done. And then there is also immunity to the plant against climate change, against drought. So forestry does that naturally. And then there is also cut down the use of other chemicals. So meaning that when you use poultry and you cannot use pesticide or other fungicide, it means that you have cut down the use of other chemicals. And then we also believe and then also know that by experience, you also will cut down the use of other fertilizers. So there is a whole lot of reduction. But one of the things that poultry does that also help farmers is to help commercial farming. In commercial farming, things like color quality, taste quality, and then even the longer shelf life are also part of the benefits that you get from poultry, and many more. I have my colleague who is also a scientist. He has more to be able to share.
All right.
There is a lot to benefit from poultry.
Thank you. The program is really getting exciting and becoming more insightful. At this juncture, I would like Mr. Itinu Emmanuel. I heard Dr. Ibiam mentioning something like that the poultry is a one-stop shop fertilizer. This is amazing. One-stop shop. That means you desist from the usage of many varieties of fertilizers. You just have all in one-stop shop. So I want you to highlight to us what kind of crops can the poultry go with? Are there some special kind of crops or plants that the poultry can be applied to, and are there exceptions?
I wouldn't say there is any specific because of the modality of the product of poultry. Now, let me just say that basically, if you want to use normal fertilizers, but the idea behind that is that you are trying to boost or improve maybe or force the soil to bring out more nutrients and what have you, so you're increasing maybe soil stress and the rest. But the thing that we end up finding out or was found out through research is that most of the time the existing nutrients in the soil have not been fully utilized by the plants. So you've already put the same soil under stress. Okay? The plants will not even utilize up to 30 or 40% of the existing nutrients within the soil. And that soil that has gone under stress will then become fallow and then unusable after a certain period of time. And that's like nutrient going back through the nutrient cycle and you don't utilize them. But what poultry does is that it increases the capacity of the plants. Okay? So the same modality and the same process of photosynthesis that almost all plants that we consume use. Good thing about the existing nature. The good thing about the existing nature is that right now most of these plants go through the same system. So all that just happens is that poultry improves their nutrient taking capacity. So they can now take full advantage of the existing nutrients within the soil. So by taking full advantage of the existing nutrients within the soil, they can exhibit their proper capacity that they would have been able to exhibit if they got all the nutrients that were required. So because of that modality, that process of the product itself, it is not limited by type of product or sorry, by type of plant or specific plant. But what happens is the process of application is differentiated. So there is a way you use it for vegetables, there's a way you're going to use it for your trees, there's a way you're going to use it for your cereals, and on and on and on and on and on. So what someone like me makes sure that we do is that we make sure that our farmers know the modality of this. Because one thing that is detrimental to anybody within any field, especially our farmers, is if they do not follow the proper process of utilization. That's basically.
All right, thank you very much. I'm coming to Mrs. Obiokoye. Yesterday, I heard someone, the reporter I worked with last time for your project, telling me that he applied the poultry and his produce was top notch. He was testifying and he was telling me that he actually wanted to get more of the poultry. So you have already testified how your crop yield of last year went. We want you to, based on what Mr. Itinu Emmanuel just mentioned, which is the issue of being knowledgeable on how to apply these things, because I know that there are some other women, especially those in the hinterland, who are not knowledgeable enough on the application. How do you think that the right machineries will be put in place to educate your people in the local government areas on the right application of the 4-3 so that the expected results can be achieved?
Okay, thank you very much. Since last year we encountered fortune, we've not rested. It's just like when you see something good, you want to call your fellow people to come and hear and see. And when they come and see, they want to partake in it. So we are going a step further this year. We want to retrain. We want to do more of the um, publicity in our local dialects. We already have a friend, a farmer that is a specialist in application that we've been working with. So anytime and anywhere we want him, we just let him know, he will come and he will drill down and break down every step by step on how to apply those things, and it has been yielding results, and we don't intend to stop because we cannot stop a moving train. So we don't want to go back to the old way of farming, which is harming us and harming our children. So we want to change the narrative from doing that by God's grace and with help.
Thank you very much. We want to know the right time, Dr. Ibiam, I'm coming to you now. The right time for the application of the 4-3. There are various stages of growth for different crops. Some at the nursery level, some when they have grown to some certain stage, and maybe pre-harvest period and all that. What is the right time for the application of the 4-3 fertilizer on plants?
So by standard, I just want to start from where it now stopped. We divided the crop into three. The vegetable ornamented crops, we put them in the small crop level, and then the field crops, which are yam, cassava, in that categories we call them M crops, which we call field crop as well. Then we have the tree crops, which we call the large crops. So for small crops, we use our tiny spoon, one tiny spoon for 20 liters of water, half of it for 20 liters of water. For field crops, yam, cassava, and all that, we use one spoon for 20 liters of water. Then for tree crops, we use 2 spoons. The spoons are spatula, very tiny. Okay, so but from the question you asked, any time the plant has leaf or any structure, we will start. Most time we said from 15 days above. At that particular time, there is a little vegetation, and then you apply for small crops every week. But for field crops, you apply every 2 weeks, and then for tree crops, because they are all cash crops, they are all live crops, you apply every month. And now what is the difference? The difference is that the more you apply, the more the soil, the plant food is given. So that means if you, for example, you are in a corn farm and you started at 15 days and you apply the first 15 days and then the second 30 days and the third 45 days, you will realize that that plant will give you a full genetic output, one corn that is fully genetic. That means that grown to the maximum. Emmanuel was saying something about when the plant absorbs the maximum food. One of the things that farmers don't understand is that when they say the land is not fertile, because most of the farmers don't actually do soil tests, right?
Yeah.
They will tell you the soil is not fertile. That does not mean that there is no nutrient in the soil. There is a nutrient in the soil, but the plant or the crop is already stressed and cannot absorb those food. So 4-3, the more you apply the 4-3, the more the plant gets immunity to be able to absorb the nutrient. So that's why we discover that when you apply them more, then the plant has more immunity and get more strength to absorb more food, and so we utilize all the food so that it will not lose in any cycle. But let me tell you something, if you do 3 times, there is a tendency that you have a full genetic crop for the plant or for your corn. Then, then the second one will start because there is enough food. And then if you apply it 4th time, then the one will come to full genetic active. If you apply it 5th time, you realize that they will come 3 at the same time. Why? Because the plant is absorbing enough food, and what happens is that the nutrient that the plant requires to be able to produce a crop is embedded in fortune. So the more they absorb, the more they continue to give you results. So that's how we apply. For the fruit trees, you apply them every month constantly. You realize that your tree will gather more energy, more ability to give you more fruit, clean fruit. And then if you look at, we notice something in cocoa farm. When you use it for cocoa farm, the smoothness on the cocoa pod will tell you that there is a difference between the former thing, because they will be out of diseases, they will be out of anything. And one of the teaser we got last year was that there is this cocoa pod that normally destroy cocoa, and it did a lot of damage in Ghana. In fact, today Ghana is losing their position in Africa. And the thing was actually mediating from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire. And then some farmers were afraid because the only option is to cut down the tree. So when they got to there, they came to buy our forestry, and they started applying the forestry. And they realized that this thing did not spray anymore. So they came to me and said, "Oh, your forestry is a medicine." I said, "No, it's not medicine. It just gave the plant an immunity against that diseases." So there is a whole lot of things that happens when you spray them constantly. Farmer gets the best out of his produce.
All right. We are quite getting to the time that we will observe a very short break. But before then, Mr. Itinu, I want you to also shed more light on the accessibility of this pottery. You know, it is one thing to have something, and it is another thing for you to be able to access it. Is it accessible? Is it affordable? What is the modality for an ordinary farmer there in the village to get it? Of course, when we come to Mrs. Chidima, we are going to tell her, we're going to also let her tell us what the government will do through the Ministry of Agriculture to at least subsidize this for some people in the hinterland. But for now, we want to know the accessibility and affordability of the poultry fertilizer.
Okay, so right now, fortune, I can answer it's very readily available all over here, and I can go as far as saying all over West Africa. Okay, we have at least, I believe we have about 4 offices here in Nigeria alone, and we are growing. In West Africa, we are in Cote d'Ivoire, we are in Cameroon, we have presence in Ghana, we have presence in Togo, we have presence in Benin Republic. So, and yes, even in the south of Africa, we are moving to and also putting our presence in the north. So our presence is there. For anyone who wants to reach out to us, if we just put us our name on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google. You see every information via phone numbers and however you want to reach. We have fixed distributors who are registered to us, who themselves, because of the confidence they have about the product, market the product themselves. I can confidently say, and I will say it here and say, you more than likely get to our distributors before you probably even reach to us. Our distributors will definitely, our fortune distributors are quite so good in putting out the product because of how much they believe in the product in such a way that I would say they will get to you before you might even want to start searching for somebody, most definitely. So our presence is definitely all over, and it's quite easy to get to handle the product.
Okay, so I really want to also add a voice to this because this product is actually available in Ebon, and I think it's also available in the southeast. So because Ebon itself will serve as the center for the southeast, so if you can get it in Ebon through the Ministry of Agriculture, Madam Chidima and his team will definitely give it across anywhere, Enugu, Imo, Abia, Anambra, you can get it. So it's available, and we also notice that many of you will ask me, what is the cost? You know, many of us will not even want to bother about it because most of our distributors will definitely, you get to them, they would have told you the price. But there is a standard price for it. If you are buying a pack of it, which is 10 sachet inside, and that can cover almost 30 hectares of land. It will cost you just 270,000. But if you are buying a sachet which will cover like 3 hectares, that one costs 30,000 naira, and you can get it right away in the Ministry of Agriculture, and the numbers of the people that will they will contact will be shown in this place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this juncture, I want to say so far so good. We have been having a good sale on this program. I promised you at the beginning that it's going to be exciting, insightful, educating, and all whatnot. And I know you can beat your chest to that. At this moment, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, issues on 4.3 will continue. Don't touch the dial. Performance enhancer for all types of plants, improves soil conditions for faster plant growth and root extension, reduces costs, increases yield, and is environmentally friendly. 4.3 is an ionic powder, ionic power with 5 times the efficiency of nano-sized particles, penetrates leaves, stems, and other plant parts in less than a minute. Induces changes at the molecular level, restoring plants to their natural balance, eliminates insects and pest problems due to changes in cycle that nutrients absorb during the period when plant nutrients are absorbed into the plant food pipeline. 4.3, a new innovation extracted from natural organic substances, humic acid, phenolic acid, citric acid, amino acids, X-Factor extract, a cutting-edge innovation exclusive to A4S company, exclusive copyright for 4S Corporation Co. Increased starch and sugar production in plant metabolism, promoting flowering and fruiting, prevents flower and fruits from falling off, maximizing fruit size and yield capacity. The plants will flourish and bear abundant fruits. 4.3, the trusted partner of farmers. This message is brought to you by A4S Company. Joining us. The program is still Issues, reaching you live from the studios of NTA Abakaliki. We have been talking about 4.3, a new innovation from the A4S company. And of course, we have people who are grounded that will provide all you need to know about this novel program, and that will boost your agricultural productivity and also help you to have a very seamless and stress-free agriculture, especially as we are delving into the 2026 farming season. Let me turn again to Dr. Ibiamoji, the regional manager of A4S and the founding partner as well as the managing director for Natari. Sir, you came here last year, and your company with Dr. Ponson and others from the Kazasat University, Thailand, and you trained some farmers. The women in agriculture were there, and they came from various local government areas in Ebonyi State. Do you have plans as this year's farming season? I know you have a very large heart, so I want you to tell us the plans you have for more trainings, for more opportunities, especially for people who cannot access some of these things if they don't have sponsors.
Okay, so you see, the more you give, the more you get. So I am here with the our anchor person, Madam Chidima Bekoye. She's a woman that has a big heart. I told her that she's an engine room. I know there are so many engines that are there, but because she's actually a person who really wants to help others, our company has taken it upon ourselves to be able to support any program that will help empower people. We are people-oriented company. We want to really do things to people. irrespective of who takes the glory.
Okay.
So there is lineup of program that within our reach. One of them is just the one that is just about to close up today, and then we also are thinking of doing bigger things. And let me tell you something. We also want to empower the youth in agriculture. We want to make agriculture something that people can earn a career with. And for that reason, we are going to be working with Minister of Agriculture. Why did we want to work with Minister of Agriculture? They have the policy, they have the wherewithal, but they just need a support, and which we are going to give to them, and to make sure that Ebonyi farmers and across the southeast, including the entire nation, gets the best in our infrastructural development program for agricultural development in Africa. And then we want to help. The more you give, the more we get. That is just our program.
Thank you very much, sir, Dr. Ibiam Oji. We are glad to hear that you have so many programs in the pipeline that will benefit the people of Ebonyi State, especially those who are not well to do, who ordinarily cannot afford some of these incentives. I want to come to you, State Coordinator of Ebonyi Women in Agriculture and the Animal Husbandry Officer of the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources. You are the anchor person, like Dr. Ibiam rightly said, of this program. How are you gearing up for the 2026 farming season, especially as it concerns your women? Because I know that charity begins at home. While they are using you to push the product here in the state, how poised are you through the ministry to ensure that the package spreads for the women in agriculture, and by extension the youth in agriculture, the men in agriculture, and every other person?
Thank you very much. Just like Mr. Ibrahim said, we have a lot of activities lined up. For the first one, we want to do using our local dialect, our women, and every other farmer, how to do culture and how to do farm properly. A lot of time we get it wrong because we want to based on the old knowledge we have, not knowing that agriculture has evolved, things has changed and things has changed. Then secondly, to reaching out our women. You know we have 13 local government areas in the Ebonyi State, and we have 13 coordinators, local government coordinators of the women in agriculture. So through them, everything that is being done in the states is being trickled down to the local government. We want to thank God for the Ministry of Agriculture that is giving us support through the Honorable Commissioner, Honorable Mrs. Princess Igotu officials, giving us serious support. And we are not relenting. We are doing practical agriculture. If you come to the Ministry of Agriculture, you see the portion mapped out for dry season farming, and every vegetable there tried even in this dry season. That is our way of teaching people, because when they come, they will see, they will learn, and they will take home. As for making the poultry get to them, there is plan in place, because this thing has been tested with the ADP, Agricultural Development Program. They've done demonstration with it, and they have confirmed and it is good that they can partner with A4S. And by the time they start, which is already on the line, by the time they start, more farmers in Ebonyi State will benefit and they will get it.
All right. Okay, with the good news and the feelers we are getting from this program, I believe that so many beautiful things are in the offing for prospective farmers and farmers as well. So, what are you waiting for before you join farming? Farming is not old fashioned. Whether you are a youth, you're a graduate without a job, you can fetch yourself a very good living by venturing into agriculture. So while we discuss these things, make use of this opportunity to look at what you're going to do for yourself. Okay, based on what the people following us online are asking, they are asking about the application of the poultry on maize. After that, we'll talk about its application on cassava. How do you apply it? Do you just sprinkle it? And for cassava, is it just the stem? Where and how should the poultry be applied on maize?
Okay, so let me just talk on that briefly. And like I mentioned, we have different methods of application on depending on type of crops. And like Dr. Abraham rightly mentioned, we have three distinctions: the small, the medium, and the large. Then if we're looking at something like maize, for instance, that falls under the medium category in cereal crops, And there's even sometimes we always tell some farmers that there's even a preparatory process you can do before tree, like seeds. But let me not really dwell on that. Let me go on just basically the application. So for the small crops, as your vegetables and the rest, that the idea mentioned half spoon in 20 liters. So when it comes to medium, you're talking about spoon in 20 liters of water, and then you put that in a knapsack sprayer. And before you apply it, one thing I'd always mention for every farmer out there, you need to set the nozzle of the knapsack sprayer. You don't set it to sprinkle water or just pour outrightly. You set it in such a way that it sprays like fumes, I believe. So fumes all over. And when you spray, you don't spray concentrating in one area. You spray and you move. So that way you make sure that you're efficiently utilizing the poultry. So we mentioned that that one sachet can cover up to like 3 hectares. And specifically, like you also mentioned, you can do that every 15 days once you start seeing vegetation for your what maize crops. Because this is still a similar thing you might would also utilize for cassava also. And also you can also do a small preparatory process before planting your cassava and then proceeding on. So the distinctions are not too different. But like I've always rightly mentioned, there are other practices that we have noticed here in Nigeria that farmers do not utilize or do not follow when they are practicing farming or whatnot. And that's not even to look down on how they do their farming, but it's just to make sure that we step up. We are not just looking at our own profit, we're looking at increasing profits generally for Nigerians, giving opportunities and all of that. So there's so many other things we also have to do, from soil testing to soil improvement to removing toxicity from soil, and then making the soil arable ready to finally plant the
Okay, thank you very much. That was a very nice explanation. Dr. Ibem, I want you to shed light on the application for cassava. I heard someone talking about applying it on the roots and then someone else on the leaf of the cassava. Which is the proper way to apply the poultry on
The
cassava
best one
plants?
is, according to Emmanuel, in your fume state, apply to the leaf. The leaf is the best option, but fortree is actually an ionic enhancer. With its power, it can penetrate any part of the plant. But if you are looking at the roots, once the leaves absorb the fortree, they send it down to the roots. And so, if it actually touches the stem, so the stem will also absorb it and more nutrient for the plant. So it's not done on the root like the conventional fertilizer. Is a foliar fertilizer, but has the ability to also penetrate on the stem of the plant. And so that's the best way for cassava. And then you can apply cassava. The good example for me is Emma said you need to soak it in the stems first in the poultry, and then that will give it early germination. So after 15 days, you can see the improvement, then you apply. So for cassava, I advise people to do 2 times in a month. That is 2 weeks, 2 weeks in the first 2 months, meaning 4 times. And then the rest of the other time you can do every month, and you will have the best. Let me tell you what you will get in cassava. You will get improved starch on your cassava. So cassava will give you 30, 20 to 25, between 20 to 30 starch content, but with fortry you will get 30 to 45 starch content, meaning that there's an improved starch production for your cassava. So more gari, more fufu for those who use fortune.
Thank you very much. Some other questions are gradually trickling in from those watching us online, and I'm glad that this program is generating this kind of feedback even as we are here on air. Another question from someone online says, can poultry fertilizer be used on cocoa tree, and how can it be applied? That's the question.
Yes, you know, I have been to some of these cities where cocoa is their stable plant. Cameroon, Itom in Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana. And there is a language they use. I'm beginning to understand that. They say bathing the tree. You know,
Okay.
they say let bath the cocoa tree. You see, because the cocoa tree pod from the stem, right? Not actually from the branch only. Most of the heavy one comes from the stem. So what they do is that they just make sure they wet the cocoa tree from leaf to the stem, and then they do that regularly. Once you do that regularly, you will have your cocoa pod that will amaze you, you know, because this has been tested and proven, and then your cocoa pod will come very smooth and sweet. And most of the diseases that attack cocoa tree will also be something of the past. This is not because I want to promote the product, I'm just telling you the reality. Spray it on the leaf, spray it on the stem. In fact, some people spray it on the stem so that they can have more. And there is no demarcation during the flowering, during any time, just keep spraying. And we said spray once in a month. But most farmers understood the value of cocoa, so they spray even every 2 weeks, and they get results.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I want to ask you something imperative now. I watched you last year um, when you mixed the formula with water and you shook it and you drank it. I was amazed. And we are talking about feeding our plants, our crops with toxic chemicals or fertilizers that we cannot consume raw. But here we are talking about poultry that you also dissolved with water, you shook it before my presence, and you drank it. Something that can be sprinkled on the plants. So, what can you say about this? The health condition of that on the human body, since it can be taken raw, and its health on the plant as well. Can you talk
Okay,
more
so we
about
don't,
that?
this is on air, so we don't encourage people to drink it. Okay, but for clarity's sake, the owner of Matari died of cancer,
Okay.
and I was privileged to stay with her at the last moment of her life.
Ah,
So I stayed with her 6 months, and that 6 months was one of the turbulent time in my life, screaming in pain and all that. And she was the one who told me that we should go organic. Others will not die because of that. So we saw how people die through consumption of some of these chemicals. Okay. So, and two, we also believe that we want to let you know that none of these blends, because Emmanuel will tell you about the blend because he's in the industry,
okay.
none of them were chemically combined in the lab. They were just extracts from nature. And so, and to be able to demonstrate that, I needed to drink it to show you that if it does not harm me, means that it will not harm the plants. And if it doesn't harm the plant, it means it will not harm the soil. And if it doesn't harm the soil, it means that it's safe. And so, for that reason, we want to let you know one thing. Apart from the fact that it's healthy, in Africa, we don't have systems where we can detect some of these chemical produce. But in the advanced world, once you are crossing those products across the border, they will test it and they will tell you the quantity of chemical that were used. Okay. Now, that brings down the value of this produce in the international market. So with Fortry, you produce something that has international market value. That is also value for farmers. So we are not just only saying, let us produce something so that we can live healthy, But farmers are one of those most impoverished people in the profession. In fact, in this farming profession or space, there is nobody that will devote $3-5 billion to go into research. But we know that if we don't produce enough food, then we will give our medical professional stress in producing drugs that can cure us. Why can't we start solving the problem by investing hugely in a product that can give life? So we spend so much money in producing this product, and this product is healthy, and then we are pursuing not just only food security, but also food health. Health in the society. So it's a lot of blend. And thank you for the question. Want our farmers to go into 2026 with a mindset to produce food that will give health.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to come to Mr. Itino Emmanuel. You are in the field. You are a scientist, so to say. And what I got to know about the blends, the combination of natural things that were combined to produce the 4-3, the humic acid is there, the phenolic acid is there, amino acids, citric acid, and then you also have yes, your secret. So that's so important. That's your trademark, exclusively for you guys. Can you also tell us about some of these particles, some of the benefits inherent in them?
Okay, so like Mr. Abraham Forbright mentioned, most of these nutrients and all these constituents within the food chain are things that we ourselves consume in a way, shape, and form. So they are not new to the human body, they are not new to the plant body. There was even something we did on social media one day where we played a prank on one of our staffs. We mixed the poultry and we threw the whole bucket on her. It's just to emphasize on the safety about that. But before I talk growing, that I believe, so that is the same concept we try and let farmers understand what we're talking about.
So let's all keep it up and let's know.
All right, Mr. Itino.
Yeah, so if I'm to say one thing, and one thing is that everyone, this is actually the time. There's no other time. This is actually one of the very best times to get involved in agriculture. Not just in Nigeria, globally. One thing that can give you the advantage without breaking the bank is poultry. So rather than having one or two excuses, whether you want to start small or start big, with all that's happening in the world right now, the best time to jump into agriculture is now. So do that now, do that quickly, and grab the future.
Thank you very much. I feel like giving all of you a hug, but you can take it virtually or anyhow you want. From me, my name is Fortunate, also your host and anchor. It's a wrap. I feel so excited doing this, and I would say till next time when we come your way, don't forget to get yourself poultry fertilizer, organically, ionically prepared for the growth and rapid yield of all your produce. And here, I say a very big thank you. As we are wrapping up, wait for the jingle of the poultry in Igbo language. Thank you very much for joining us, and for all the crew, God bless you.
ubi ịnụla maka nri akụkụ ubi ọhụrụ a na-akpọ 4-3. 4-3 bụ ọgbara ọhụrụ dị na nri akụkụ ubi emepụtara ọhụrụ iji kwalite ụdị akụkụ ubi ọbụla. Ọ na-ewulite ọnọdụ ala eji akọ nri ka ihe akọrọ n'ubi wee na-eto ngwa ngwa n'ihi na ọ naghị emebi gburugburu ebe obibi. Ọ na-enye aka ka akụkụ ubi nwee mgbọrọgwụ dị ukwuu. Ọ na-ebelatakwa oke ego ndị ọrụ ubi na-emefu ma na-eme ka ihe akọpụtara n'ugbo buo ibu nnukwu ma bụrụ atụrụ tawa. 4-3 dị na ụdị ntụ pawuda jupụtara n'ihe na-edozi ahụ bụ iron ma nwekwara ụmụ ururu patikụl nano nke na-edozi gburugburu ala, ahụ mmadụ na ihe oriri. Ọ na-abanyekwa n'ime akwụkwọ nke akụkụ ubi na ngalaba ndị ọzọ n'ime otu nkeji. fortri na-eweta mgbanwe n'ogugo molekul akụkụ ubi niile, na-edozi ndị mebiri emebi ma na-egbukwa ụmụ arụrụ na-ata ihe